Alright, what's going on, legends? As you can see, the Jeep is parked down the driveway. Today we are putting actually the first mod on the Jeep, which is going to be pretty sick. I'm actually really excited for it. I've been umming and ahhing about doing this, and it's definitely happening because I bought it. Now, I can't make a tutorial on this because the Rhino website actually does a brilliant tutorial and I would absolutely butcher it. But I thought I'd bring you some tips that I should have done, but I didn't when you're installing the system. Let's go. If you have a Jeep Wrangler, like myself, you will need the backbone system. The backbone system is very important when you're putting it on a roof rack because the roof is made out of fiberglass. Now, the problem with fiberglass is it's fiberglass. Now, when you're drilling those holes, fibers and stuff goes everywhere, and the tutorial does say you should wear gloves. Now, I didn't wear gloves. I did get needles in my hands. Didn't worry me too much at all, for the reason being I work with fiberglass quite often in my actual real-time job. So getting a couple of needles, didn't really notice at all. But if you've got kids, a wife, or somebody who is susceptible, even yourself, that is susceptible to getting needles in their fingers, you know, needles in the back of their legs when they sit down, I was about to say ass, you know, needles in the back of their legs, I would suggest a drop sheet, or as they suggest, vacuum as you go. Something that I wish I did is vacuum as I drilled, but you know, if you're lining it up and you're trying to get it perfect, that's a little bit hard to do. But you need to have some form of drop sheet, I think, especially for the fiberglass that drops. Now, tip number 2 with the backbone system. The roof racks, they're easy to put on. If you haven't put roof racks on before, they're quite easy to put on. The backbone system, because you do have to drill holes through your vehicle, it's a little bit scary. Especially your first hole is always the scariest, but we managed to do it. Something that you need to consider when you put the backbone system in is to take your time, because the backbone system is staying there forever. It's not coming out. If you want to take it out, you're going to have holes in your roof. So take your time, don't rush, make sure everything fits perfectly and make sure everything is done right. I mean, you don't want a messy job and you'll walk past and be like, oh, gee, why did I do it like that? No, you need to do it perfect, and that's why you need to do it. And take your time with it, don't rush. Another good tip with that same subject, don't put too much silicone on it because it will spew out the sides. It happened once to me because I thought I'd put a bit extra to make sure it seals a little bit better, because the hole blew out a little bit on the paint.
On this side, like it blew its back out. Blew its back out. Yeah, just that one. But that one looked good. Oh, what the fuck?
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put some more silicone down. Moderation, because it squeezes up nice and tight, so that silicone spreads out quite dramatically. So one thing, don't put too much silicone on it because it does spew out, and I had to take it off, clean it up with a rag, and redo it because of that. My third tip that I want to address is, in the video it says to line up all your holes and, you know, put all the backbone system in, adjust everything, and then it wants you to take it out to trim out your insulation. You trim out your insulation to put it back in. Now, I think that is a good way, but I'm a person I hate a double handle. I don't want to have to go back, undo everything, put it all in. My silicone on the outside gets gets disturbed on the outside. So I want to just do it up tight and leave it at that. Now, what I did on my first run was do it how the tutorial did it. Doing it that way, I didn't really like. One thing I did like, what I did on the second one, was putting the insulation as I'm going. I felt it was quicker, and you can sort of line yourself up so it doesn't matter too much and it doesn't disturb your silicone on the outside. You sort of want that silicone because that's the only thing sort of stopping moisture getting in through those holes. So you don't want that silicone to be disturbed. Even though it is wet and it will seal back up, if you take it too long, if it dries out on the outside, you don't want any cracks or anything like that. So best off just to do it and just leave it and do not disturb it. So that's my tip number 3, and that's all the tips I have. Now, a general review of the roof rack. Had this system in my car for roughly about, I would say probably 2 weeks now. I've had this in my actual vehicle at time of recording this video. Now, I did a trip with it, a very short trip. It was an overnight trip. It wasn't a crazy trip. There was a bit of forward driving. I did check all the bolts and everything and made sure they were tight. Nothing loosened up. It was actually great. It handled really well. Handled the terrain very well, especially with the rooftop on top of the roof rack. You know, it handled the weight. It handled the weight very well. It didn't loosen up. It was very good. That's so dumb. Now, if I was to rate this overall system, you know, on functionality, on easy to set up, on is it cheap, is it, I don't know, is it poorly made, would tick all the boxes for yes, this is a great product. It's very well made, and the instructions and everything, the boxing, you know, the setup, they teach you everything. They have tutorials you can read, the full manual. I got it sitting over there. The full manual tells you absolutely everything. Absolutely everything. So this is actually a really good product. Is it expensive? Yes, it is expensive. Is it one of the only products for the Jeep? Yes, it is one of the only products for the Jeep. There was another one I was looking at, but there was not enough information out there for me to put it on my vehicle to know that it was going to work. So that's the reason I went the backbone system by Rhino Rack. I am a person for, if I can get it done cheaper, I will try and get it done cheaper. After buying this, I'm a little bit like, that sucks, because this was a really good product. It's easy to install. They thought about everything. A lot of the cheap Chinese junk that you put on your vehicle, you know, to get by and just to get out there and have fun, it leaves you with a lot of dead ends that you sort of need to think about and sort of have to do, and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna have to do this because it doesn't really work. With this, everything worked. They thought about, like, here's something. This is a product by Rhino Rack. Now, if you look at it, it's just an aluminium tube. That's all it is. But for an average drill bit, it is a spacer, so you don't poke through too far and you hit the internal roll cage of the vehicle. So you don't scratch the paint or anything like that. That is why I like this product. They actually think about stuff, not just like hand it over to the owner and say, figure it out. No, they actually think about it for you. And that's why I reckon I'll rate this product for you. Now, since I've got a roof rack and a rooftop tent, I will be doing trips in the future, so make sure you stay tuned, because I've got a couple trips coming up and a couple different trips I'm trying to make rather than your usual Fraser Island trip. So make sure you stay tuned, make sure you subscribe to see the next, the new content, and please stick around, throw a thumbs up, and hope to see you watching my next video. Cheers!